He locked her out of the gala, humiliated her in front of everyone. But he had no idea she was the one who owned the company. Stay till the end, subscribe to this channel because what happens next will shatter his world, and inspire anyone who's ever been made to feel small. Ma'am, please step aside. The security guard's hand comes up fast, too fast, blocking the glass doors just as they begin to swing open. Clover Anderson stops short. The sudden halt sends a dull ache through her lower back, the kind she's been ignoring all evening. 7 months pregnant. Heels she probably shouldn't be wearing. A long line of guests was behind her. Flashing lights from cameras across the street caught on the polished marble floor. She looks at the guard first, then slowly turns her head toward her husband. "What did he just say?" she asks quietly. Lucas doesn't answer right away. He straightens the cuff of his tuxedo, checks his watch, and exhales like someone already late for something important. "I told you in the car," he says. "This isn't happening tonight." Clover blinks. Once. Twice. "We're here," she says. "We were invited. You handed me the invitation yourself." The guard shifts his weight, uncomfortable. "Sir, her name is on there." "She's not coming in," Lucas cuts in sharply, his smile already returning as he turns back to the guard. "I'm sorry for the confusion." Confusion. Clover feels the word lodge somewhere in her chest. "Lucas," she says, keeping her voice low. "What are you doing?" He finally looks at her then. Really looks. His eyes flick briefly to her stomach before snapping back up to her face. "My parents are inside," he says under his breath. "The board members, too. This is the Hartley Foundation Gala, not a baby shower." The words hit harder than she expected. "I didn't plan this," she says. "You know that." "That's not the point," he replies. "The point is appearance." Behind them, someone clears their throat. A woman in a sequined gown whispers to her date. A camera shutter clicks. Clover becomes painfully aware of how she must look to everyone watching. A pregnant woman stalled at the entrance of a glamorous charity gala, her husband standing inches away but worlds apart. "So you're embarrassed by me," she says. Lucas sighs, irritation slipping through the cracks of his polished composure. "Don't make a scene." A scene. The irony almost makes her laugh. "I just need you to go home," he continues. "Rest. We'll talk later." Later. Like always. The guard hesitates again. "Sir, if she's your wife." Lucas's jaw tightens. "She is not entering." Silence stretches. Clover searches his face for something. Hesitation, guilt, anything, but finds none. Just resolve. Just relieved that he's almost done with this uncomfortable moment. Her heart sinks in a slow, heavy way. "You promised," she says softly. Lucas doesn't respond. He steps past her. For a split second, she thinks he might stop. That he might turn around, realize what he's doing, take her hand, and say, "This is my wife." But he doesn't. The doors close behind him. The sound echoes. The guard lowers his hand, clearly shaken. "Ma'am. I'm sorry." Clover nods, though she's not sure why. Her throat feels tight, her palms cold. The night air brushes against her bare arms, sharp and unkind. Inside, the music swells. Laughter rises. The event continues. Without her. She takes a small step back, then another, until she's no longer blocking the entrance. Guests stream past her now, barely sparing her a glance. To them, she's just another problem that's already been handled. Her phone buzzes in her clutch. She doesn't look at it yet. Instead, she stares at the glass doors, at the reflection staring back at her. Elegant dress. Calm face. A woman who looks like she belongs everywhere except where she stands. People often think humiliation is loud, explosive. But this is quiet. Surgical. The kind that makes you question yourself instead of the person who hurt you. If you've ever been made to feel like you were too much, or worse, in the way, don't look away. You're not alone in this moment. Her phone buzzes again. She finally looks. It was from Rebecca. Where are you? I'm pulling up, it read. Clover types back with steady fingers. Outside. He wouldn't let me in. 3 dots appear instantly. Then, stay there. Clover exhales slowly. She shifts her weight, one hand instinctively resting on her stomach. The baby moves, a gentle reminder that she's not standing here for just herself anymore. She thinks back to that morning. Lucas is standing in front of the mirror, adjusting his tie, telling her casually that she should sit this one out, that the conversations would be too much, that his mother would worry, that it would be better if she stayed home. She'd laughed it off then, trusted him, loved him. She hadn't argued. She rarely did. Because love, she thought, meant compromise. Because marriage, she believed, meant choosing peace. She had no idea peace could look this much like erasure. Inside the ballroom, Lucas raises a glass. He laughs at something someone says. He doesn't look back. Clover feels something inside her shift. Not break. Shift. The phone buzzes again. From Rebecca. I'm here, she said. A black sedan pulls up to the curb. Rebecca steps out, sharp in a tailored suit, eyes already locked on Clover. She takes in the scene in seconds. The closed doors, the guard, Clover's expression. Rebecca doesn't ask questions. She walks straight to the guard. Excuse me, she says calmly. Who authorized denying her entry? The guard swallows. Her husband. Rebecca nods once. I see. She turns to Clover. Do you want to go in? Clover looks past her, through the glass, into the world that just rejected her. She thinks of the secret she's kept for years. The name she stopped using. The power she tucked away so someone else could feel tall. Yes, Clover says finally. I do. Rebecca smiles faintly. Then don't move. As Rebecca steps away to make a call, Clover feels eyes on her again. Curious now. Expectant. Something is changing. Inside the ballroom, the host approaches the microphone. Lucas adjusts his jacket, oblivious. Clover lifts her chin. If you've ever stayed quiet to keep someone else comfortable, if you've ever made yourself smaller so love wouldn't leave, you might want to subscribe. Because sometimes the moment you stop shrinking is the moment everything catches fire. The music inside fades. The microphone crackles. And for the first time that night, Clover feels it. Not fear. Anticipation. Clover doesn't move. The doors stay closed. The guard pretends to check his earpiece. Guests continue flowing past her, the smell of expensive perfume and champagne drifting out every time the glass parts for someone else. Rebecca steps a few feet away, phone pressed to her ear, voice low but sharp. Yes. She's outside. 8 months pregnant. Denied entry. A pause. No, I'm not exaggerating. Clover looks down at her hands. They're steady. That surprises her. She'd expected shaking. Tears. A breakdown she'd have to swallow back. Instead, there's a strange calm settling in her chest, the kind that comes right before something irreversible. Her phone vibrates again. This time it's not Rebecca. It's Lucas. She lets it ring. Inside the ballroom, she can see him through the glass now. He's laughing, leaning in close to a man in a grey suit, his hand gesturing animatedly as if the world hasn't just cracked open behind him. He looks exactly like someone who believes he's untouchable. A woman in a pale blue gown pauses near Clover, glancing between her stomach and the closed doors. Pity flickers across her face before she turns away. That hurts more than the stares. Being pitied means you've already been judged weak. Clover straightens her shoulders. She thinks about how many times she's swallowed words to keep the peace. How many dinners she smiled through while Lucas's mother made comments that landed like tiny cuts. How many times Lucas told her, just ignore it, as if silence were a virtue instead of a slow disappearance. If you've ever been told to stay quiet so someone else could shine, this part might hit close to home. Rebecca returns, her expression unreadable. They're pulling the schedule forward. Clover blinks. What does that mean? It means, Rebecca says carefully, your introduction was supposed to be later. Not anymore. A spark flickers in Clover's chest. Inside, applause ripples through the ballroom. The host steps onto the stage, microphone in hand. Clover can't hear the words, but she recognizes the posture, the practiced confidence of someone about to introduce a major donor. Her phone buzzes again. Lucas, again. She finally answers. What? She says. Where are you? His voice is tight. My mother's asking questions. Clover almost laughs. Almost. I'm right where you left me, she says. Outside. There's a pause. Rebecca told you, didn't she? Told me what? That you didn't need to be here tonight, he snaps. Clover, don't do this. Not now. Not now. Not here. Not ever. You mean don't embarrass you, she says calmly. That's not fair. Neither is locking your pregnant wife out of a building she was invited to, she replies. Another pause. Longer this time. Go home, Lucas says. We'll talk when this is over. The word home feels hollow. She hangs up before he can say anything else. Rebecca watches her closely. You okay? Clover nods. I think I stopped trying to be. A murmur rises inside the ballroom, louder this time. Heads turn toward the stage. Someone near the doors claps enthusiastically. Rebecca checks her phone, then looks back at Clover. They're about to say your name. Clover's heart thumps once, hard. What if I'm not ready? She asks, surprising herself. Rebecca doesn't hesitate. You've been ready for years. You just weren't allowed to be. Clover exhales slowly. She thinks about the first time she hid her last name from Lucas. How he'd laughed when she said she worked in consulting. How easy it was to let him believe she was smaller than she was. She wanted love without leverage. She never imagined the cost would be dignity. The doors remain closed. Inside, Lucas shifts uncomfortably. He glances toward the entrance for the first time since walking away. His smile falters when he doesn't see her. The applause swells. The host's voice carries faintly through the glass. Whose generosity has shaped this foundation for over a decade. Clover steps forward, just one step. The guard notices and straightens, unsure. Ma'am. Rebecca lifts a hand. Let her stand. Clover's phone buzzes again. This time, it's a message from an unknown number. Didn't you tell him? Clover doesn't reply. She places both hands over her stomach. The baby shifts again, a slow, steady movement that grounds her. She thinks of the woman she was before she learned to make herself smaller. The one who signed contracts without asking permission. The one who believed power didn't need to be loud to be real. Inside, the host pauses. Lucas's face drains of color as something on the teleprompter catches his eye. Clover feels it then, the pull. The moment before a truth breaks into the open. If you've ever waited for someone to choose you and realized too late that you had to choose yourself instead, stay with this. Because what happens next doesn't just change her night. It changes everything. The doors begin to open. And inside the ballroom, a name is about to be spoken that Lucas never expected to hear. The applause hits first. Not polite. Not casual. Real. The kind that rolls through a room and forces everyone to stop what they're doing. Lucas stiffens mid-laugh. His glass pauses halfway to his lips as conversations around him fade into a low, curious murmur. He turns toward the stage just as the host adjusts the microphone, smiling wider than before. And now, the host says, voice ringing clear, we have the honor of recognizing the woman whose vision and leadership made tonight possible. Lucas exhales. Relieved. This was fine. This was expected. A donor. Another wealthy executive. Someone he'd shake hands with later and mention over brunch tomorrow. He claps along with everyone else, already planning his next move. Please welcome, the host continues, glancing down, the CEO of Monroe Global Holdings, Ms. Clover Monroe. The room freezes. Lucas's hands stop mid-clap. Clover Monroe. The name echoes in his head, sharp and disorienting. That can't. A ripple moves through the crowd as people shift in their seats, murmurs spreading fast. Monroe Global Holdings isn't just a sponsor. It's the sponsor. The kind of company people build entire careers trying to get close to. Lucas's pulse spikes. He looks toward the entrance instinctively. The doors open, and the air leaves his lungs. Clover steps inside. Not tentative. Not hesitant. She walks in like she owns the floor beneath her feet. Her dress catches the light. Clean lines, deliberate, powerful. Her pregnancy is visible, undeniable, not hidden behind fabric or apology. Her back is straight. Her chin is lifted. She doesn't search the room for Lucas. She doesn't need to. The applause swells, louder now, rising to a standing ovation as people recognize her. Phones come out. Whispers turn into excited commentary. That's her. She's younger than I expected. She's pregnant. Lucas can't move. This isn't the woman he told to stay home. This isn't the wife he dismissed at the door. This is someone else entirely. Clover reaches the stage. The host steps aside, offering the microphone with visible respect. She takes it calmly, fingers steady, eyes scanning the room. They pass over Lucas without pause. That hurts more than he expects. Thank you, she begins, her voice even, warm, carrying effortlessly. Thank you all for being here tonight. The room quiets instantly. I've supported the Hartley Foundation for many years, she continues. Because education changes lives. Because opportunity should never depend on where you start. She pauses, just long enough to draw everyone in. But tonight, she says, is different. Lucas feels it then, a shift. The kind that precedes impact. Tonight, Clover continues, I was reminded how easy it is to underestimate someone. How simple it is to mistake silence for weakness. Her gaze moves again. This time, it lands on him. And stays there. The room follows her eyes. Lucas's chest tightens as heads turn toward him, curiosity sharpening into something else. His mother, Millicent, stiffens beside him, her pleasant expression faltering. Clover doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't accuse. She doesn't need to. There are moments, Clover says slowly, when you realize you've been making yourself smaller to protect someone else's comfort. A murmur ripples through the crowd. Lucas's palms grow damp. He remembers the car ride. The way he'd told her this wasn't the place for her. The way he'd convinced himself it was reasonable, necessary, protective. This evening, Clover continues, I was told I didn't belong here. Gasps scatter across the room. Lucas's mother turns sharply toward him. What does she mean? She whispers. He doesn't answer. Not because I wasn't invited, Clover says. Not because I hadn't earned my place. Her hand rests briefly on her stomach. But because my presence was inconvenient. The silence is deafening now. Lucas feels something ugly crawl up his spine. He wants to stand. To interrupt. To explain. But what explanation could survive this? If you've ever been asked to dim your light, Clover says, her voice steady but edged with something raw, to make someone else feel taller. I want you to know you're not alone. The room is hanging on every word. This isn't a speech anymore. It's a reckoning. And if you've ever confused control with love, she adds, eyes still locked on Lucas, tonight is proof that the truth doesn't stay hidden forever. Millicent grips Lucas's arm hard. Lucas, she hisses. What did you do? He can't answer. He watches as the woman he thought he controlled rewrites the narrative in front of everyone who ever mattered to him. Clover takes a breath. The kind you take before crossing a line you can't uncross. Outside, behind the doors, the security guard shifts uneasily. Rebecca watches the stage, her jaw set. If you've ever defended someone who was quietly breaking you, if you've ever made excuses for behavior that shrank you a little more each time, don't look away now. Because Clover is about to say the one thing Lucas prayed she never would. And when she does, nothing will be left standing the way it was. Clover lets the silence breathe. She doesn't rush it. She doesn't soften it. She knows the room is holding its breath, and for once in her life, she doesn't feel the urge to make anyone comfortable. I didn't come up here to embarrass anyone, she says, measured. I came up here because this foundation deserves honesty. And because I do too. Lucas feels his pulse in his ears. Every instinct screams at him to stand, to interrupt, to do something. But his legs won't move. His body has betrayed him the same way he betrayed her. Quietly, completely. Clover shifts her grip on the podium. When I married my husband, she continues, I made a decision. I chose to keep my professional life separate from my personal one. A few people nod, understanding. Discretion is respected in rooms like this. I took his last name, she says. Not because I had to. Because I wanted to. Lucas's mother inhales sharply. I wanted to know, Clover goes on, if I could be loved without my resume. Without my balance sheet. Without what I could provide. Her eyes sweep the crowd again, then settle back on Lucas. And for a while, she says quietly, I thought I was. The pause is devastating. Lucas swallows hard. But tonight, Clover says, her voice tightening just enough to reveal the truth underneath, I learned something important. She steps slightly away from the podium, as if what she's about to say doesn't belong to it. I learned that love built on control is not love. It's convenient. A ripple of discomfort moves through the room. Millicent's face goes pale. Lucas, she whispers urgently, stand up. He doesn't. Clover places a hand over her stomach again, grounding herself. I was denied entry to this event, she says plainly. By my own husband. This time, the reaction isn't subtle. Gasps. Sharp intakes of breath. Someone mutters, that's unbelievable. Lucas's chest feels too tight. Too small. I was told, Clover continues, that I would embarrass him. That my presence would be a distraction. That this space was not for me. Her voice doesn't crack. That's what makes it unbearable. If you're watching this and thinking, why didn't she speak up sooner? Clover says, eyes lifting slightly toward the cameras now clearly recording, ask yourself how many times you've stayed quiet to keep the peace. The words land heavily. If you've ever been told you were too much, too visible, too inconvenient, she adds, this moment is for you. Lucas's mother pulls her hand away from his arm, as if suddenly afraid of being associated with him. Clover straightens. I built Monroe Global Holdings from the ground up, she says. I've negotiated contracts in rooms where no one expected me to speak. I've funded initiatives that changed thousands of lives. Her gaze sharpens. And yet, the hardest thing I ever did was make myself small for the man I loved. The room is dead silent now. Lucas feels heat creep up his neck. People are looking at him openly. No more polite glances. No more discretion. Judgment. Clover turns slightly, addressing the host, then the audience again. This gala raised over $3 million tonight, she says. That's something to be proud of. She smiles faintly. But money doesn't excuse cruelty. Lucas's breath stutters. She looks back at him one last time. You didn't protect me, she says. You protected your ego. It's not loud. It's final. A woman near the front presses a hand to her mouth. Someone in the back shakes their head slowly. If you've ever defended someone who wouldn't defend you in public, if you've ever been asked to disappear so someone else could feel important, stay with me. Because this is the part where the truth stops being polite. Clover steps back from the microphone. The host hesitates, unsure whether to intervene, but Clover raises a hand slightly. She's not done. There's one more thing, she says. Lucas's heart drops. She reaches into her clutch and pulls out a folded card. For a split second, his mind races. Documents, proof, something worse. I prepared this speech months ago, she says. Before tonight. Before I knew I'd be locked out of my own event. A bitter smile flickers and disappears. I plan to thank my husband for his support. Murmurs ripple again. But support, Clover says slowly, doesn't come with conditions. She folds the card once. Twice. And love, she adds, her voice calm but unyielding, doesn't ask you to disappear. She sets the card down on the podium. Then she turns. Not toward Lucas. Toward the exit. The room doesn't move. No one claps. No one speaks. Lucas scrambles to his feet at last. Clover, wait. His voice echoes, thin and desperate. She stops walking. For one heartbeat, hope flares in his chest. She turns her head just enough for him to see her profile. This conversation, she says without looking at him, should have happened before you closed the door on me. She continues walking. Security shifts instinctively, not to stop her, but to clear the way. Lucas steps forward, but someone blocks him. He doesn't even know who. A guard. A guest. It doesn't matter. For the first time, he understands what it feels like to be powerless in a room full of witnesses. Outside the ballroom, the doors swing open again. Clover steps into the corridor, Rebecca already at her side. Behind them, inside the ballroom, chaos finally begins to stir. Phones are out. Whispers are turning into headlines. And Lucas stands frozen, staring at the exit where his wife just walked away, knowing with a sinking certainty that whatever happens next will not be on his terms. Not anymore. Clover's heels click against the polished floor of the private corridor, each step deliberate, echoing like a heartbeat in the quiet space. Rebecca walks beside her, calm but alert, eyes scanning for anyone foolish enough to try stopping them. Clover doesn't speak at first. She lets the rhythm of her own heartbeat fill the silence. It's strange, how freeing it feels, this space outside the ballroom, away from the stares and whispers, yet still holding the power she's always carried but never let show. Her phone buzzes again. Another message from Lucas. She ignores it. This time, the ringing feels desperate, panicked, and she knows it. He's realizing slowly that the person he thought he controlled, he never controlled at all. Inside, the murmur of the gala grows. The staff and guests are whispering in corners, murmuring questions no one expected to be answered tonight. Someone is recording. Someone is live streaming. Every move she makes outside is already inside, and soon, everywhere. Rebecca finally speaks. He won't stop texting. He won't stop calling. Her voice is calm, but there's a warning beneath it. Do you want me to respond? Clover shakes her head, one hand resting lightly on her belly. No. Let him think I'm afraid. Let him think I'm apologizing. Let him think he has power over me. He doesn't. He never did. Her reflection in the glass wall catches her eye. 7 months pregnant. Standing tall. Not hiding. Not apologizing. The woman inside that reflection is the one who built a company, changed thousands of lives, and endured humiliation silently, until now. Her phone buzzes again. This time, it's not from Lucas. It's from the gala coordinator, someone she's never met but whose name she recognizes immediately from the company files. Clover, the media is asking. They're outside. They want a statement. What do you want me to say? Clover inhales slowly. Tell them the truth, she replies. Tell them what it means to be dismissed by someone who promised to protect you, and what it feels like to reclaim yourself in front of everyone who ever doubted you. Rebecca glances at her. You're really going to do it? Clover looks down at her stomach and then back up, eyes cold but resolute. I've already done it. Walking away isn't surrender. It's a declaration. They turn a corner, and suddenly, the main exit doors come into view. Security has begun gathering near the entrance, some trying to block her path, others frozen, unsure of what they're seeing. Clover slows her pace, letting the tension build. The corridor seems smaller now, the walls tighter, and every movement feels like a countdown. Inside the ballroom, Lucas is pacing. His mother, Millicent, is whispering urgently in his ear, her hand gripping his arm so tightly his skin hurts. "What have you done?" she hisses. I didn't," Lucas stammers, but the words sound hollow, even to him. Millicent's glare could cut glass. "You humiliated her. In front of everyone. And now the world is watching." Clover feels a small smile tug at her lips. They don't know yet. They can't see yet. But soon they will. A camera flashes from the corridor. Someone, braver or more opportunistic than the rest, has caught her silhouette on their phone. She knows that image will spread. Viral, instantaneous, impossible to ignore. Rebecca nudges her slightly. "Now," she whispers. "You ready?" Clover stops. She breathes in, then lets out a controlled exhale. Yes. It's time they see the whole truth. They step forward, emerging from the corridor toward the press gathering outside the building. Reporters swivel, cameras snapping. Microphones are thrust toward her before she even opens her mouth. Clover glances back once, just long enough for Lucas, standing at the edge of the ballroom doors, to see her eyes lock on his. No apology. No weakness. Only clarity, only fire. "I am Clover Monroe," she says, her voice carrying through the cluster of reporters. "I own Monroe Global Holdings. I built this company from nothing. And tonight, my husband chose his ego over our marriage, locking me out of an event that I made possible." Whispers turn into chatter. Phones click. People start recording. Someone mutters, "Is that?" Lucas's hand trembles slightly as he lifts it, as if to stop her, but the distance between them, and the audience watching, makes him powerless. Clover pauses, letting the weight of her words settle. If you've ever been told you're too much, that your voice, your presence, or your accomplishments are inconvenient, know this: your power is yours, not theirs. No one can take it from you unless you allow it. A murmur of agreement spreads. Even strangers in the crowd feel it. Some nod. Some whisper to friends. Social media is already lighting up, notifications spiking. Lucas's face drains of color. This isn't happening in private. This isn't something he can spin. Not tonight. Not ever. Clover steps closer to the press. "I will no longer make myself small to make someone else feel bigger," she says, voice rising slightly. "And neither should anyone else. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be heard. And if someone in your life tells you otherwise, you owe it to yourself to walk away." A photographer clicks again, closer this time. The image will spread. The story will spread. Headlines will follow her words. Pregnant CEO confronts husband, locked out of gala she funded. Rebecca leans close. "Do you want to add?" Clover shakes her head. "No. Let them digest it. Let him digest it. Let the world digest it. They'll get the rest on their own." She turns, poised and unshakable, and begins walking down the steps toward the waiting sedan. Reporters swarm, phones raised, capturing every step. Behind her, in the ballroom, Lucas stands frozen. His mother's face is pale. His carefully curated image, the one he built around control and appearances, is cracking in real time. If you've ever loved someone who treated you as invisible, if you've ever been made small so someone else could feel taller, you know the sting. And you know the longing for justice. Clover's eyes flick back toward the ballroom one last time before sliding into the car. She knows this night is far from over. But one thing is certain: from this moment on, nothing and no one will make her small again. As the car door shuts, the crowd outside murmurs louder, questions spreading, whispers of awe and outrage mixing into the cool night air. The story has begun to escape the room, and Lucas realizes, too late, that power is no longer in his hands. And somewhere in that chaos, a single headline flashes across a reporter's screen. The wife they tried to erase just became unstoppable. Clover leans back, placing a hand on her stomach. A small smile curls on her lips. The game has changed. And Lucas. He still doesn't know how badly he's lost. The story is just beginning. Lucas's chest feels tight. His hands shake slightly as he turns toward the space where Clover just stood, the crowd still buzzing from her words. He can hear the low murmur of reporters outside, cameras flashing, and in that moment, he understands, what he thought was control was an illusion. He runs a hand through his hair, frustrated, panicked. She can't just do this, he mutters to himself. This isn't. It can't. Millicent grabs his arm, her pearls clinking sharply. What have you done? She hisses. Do you even realize how this looks? How will it look? He starts, but words fail him. No excuse fits the enormity of what just happened. He steps toward the doors, trying to peer through the glass at the press swarm, at Clover stepping into her waiting car, composed and untouchable. He wants to run after her, to grab her hand, to explain, to manipulate. But there's a line now. A line he crossed hours ago when he told her she didn't belong. Inside, whispers ripple through the room. Someone notices the tension and points at him subtly. Staffers exchange glances. The guests, many of whom he relied on for approval and validation, are no longer on his side, quietly or otherwise. He pulls out his phone. Texts. Missed calls. Rebecca's name flashed relentlessly. His thumb hovers over it, then drops. Fear grips him. Calling her now would be desperate. And desperate looks weak. He glances back at the stage, empty now except for the host, and the weight of the night hits him fully. Every handshake, every laugh, every polished move, meaningless. Outside, Clover leans back in her seat, eyes calm, as the city lights reflect off the windows. The press is still circling, recording, capturing her statement, her dignity, her power. She rests one hand on her stomach, feeling the life inside her, and knows that she's standing not just for herself, but for every person who's ever been dismissed for being too much. Lucas watches through the glass, a man unraveling quietly. He finally understands the truth he refused to see for so long. He loved a version of Clover that didn't exist, the small, invisible version he thought he could control. His phone buzzes again. Another notification, another headline spreading across social media. Pregnant CEO exposes husband, denied entry to Gala she funded. He swallows hard, panic rising. His carefully curated world, the one built on appearances and control, is collapsing in real time. And there's nothing he can do to stop it. Millicent's grip tightens. Lucas, she says, voice trembling with rage and disbelief. You need to fix this. Fix it. The word hits him like a slap. Fix it. How? How do you fix humiliation broadcast across every major social media platform in the city? How do you reclaim control after someone shows the world exactly who you are? Inside, Clover's car pulls away from the Gala. The cameras follow. Every flash, every recorded video, every social post drives a wedge between him and the image he thought defined their life. Lucas slumps against the wall, finally aware that the person who mattered most to him has vanished. Not physically, but in a way that makes every lie, every manipulation, every attempt at control meaningless. He wants to call her. He wants to apologize. But those words, if spoken now, would only reveal his weakness, his ego, his failure. He can't. The crowd outside erupts in whispers of admiration, shock, and outrage. And somewhere in the noise, Lucas hears the realization. He lost before he even knew the rules of the game had changed. If you've ever been belittled by someone you trusted, silenced by someone you loved, or dismissed because you refused to shrink, stay with this story. Because what happens next isn't just revenge. It's liberation. And it will make you question how you allow others to treat you, and how long you've allowed it. Lucas's eyes follow the car as it disappears into the night. The press is still circling, the flashes still blinding, and in that moment he knows, he is no longer in control. And the woman he thought he could diminish has just become unstoppable. He sinks to the floor against the wall, chest heaving, mind racing. And somewhere in the distance, a reporter shouts, "Ms. Monroe, one more question. What happens next?" Clover doesn't answer. Not yet. Not here. Lucas realizes he'll never be able to control the story again. And the city is already watching. Clover steps out of the car, the city lights reflecting off her gold maternity dress like shards of fire. Every eye on the sidewalk tracks her movement, the flashbulbs, the murmurs, the silent awe. She doesn't flinch. She doesn't hesitate. This is her moment, and she knows it. Rebecca stays close, phone in hand, ready to respond to any reporter foolish enough to try spinning a narrative in Lucas's favor. A reporter edges forward, voice shaking slightly. "Ms. Monroe, can you comment on the events tonight? On your husband's?" Clover holds up a hand, cutting through the question like a scalpel. "Let me be clear," she says, her voice calm but sharp. "What happened inside that gala wasn't just about me being denied entry. It's about a larger truth." She pauses, letting the words settle in the crowd. Too often, women are made small so someone else can feel taller. And too often, the world turns a blind eye. A murmur of agreement spreads. People are nodding, recording, and sharing. This isn't just a story, they can feel it, like electricity. Clover steps closer to the edge of the crowd, addressing the cameras directly. If you've ever been told to hide your accomplishments, silence your voice, or minimize yourself for someone else's ego, know this: your power is yours. No one can take it unless you let them. And no one should ever make you apologize for it. Somebody in the crowd gasps audibly. A few reporters glance at each other, realizing this isn't a standard press statement. This is a declaration. Inside the gala, Lucas sits rigid in his chair, barely breathing. He can't see her anymore, only the flickering flashes of the cameras from outside. Social media notifications are blowing up his phone. Headlines are spreading faster than he can process. Pregnant CEO exposes husband publicly. Wife denied entry becomes heroine overnight. Monroe Global Holdings CEO outshines husband at gala she funded. He feels panic rising. Desperation. A creeping understanding that every carefully built facade is crumbling. He scrolls through his phone, each notification like another blow, each headline another crack in the image he thought untouchable. Clover's voice reaches him through the live feed some reporters have started streaming. "I will not shrink myself for anyone's comfort. And neither should you. Stand tall, even when it terrifies you. Speak your truth, even when it shakes the people around you. Because the moment you stop shrinking, the world can finally see who you really are." Rebecca hands Clover another phone. "Your message is going viral. Everywhere. They're calling you courageous." Clover glances at her belly and smiles faintly. "Courage was never for me. It's for the ones watching, anyone who's been told they're too much, who's been asked to disappear for someone else's pride." Lucas collapses against the wall, head in his hands. Millicent mutters under her breath, horror etched across her face. Every connection he thought he had, his family, his social standing, the people who admired him, is slipping away. And all because he underestimated the woman he married. Clover steps into the street now, letting the flashes of cameras illuminate her like spotlights. Every step is deliberate. Every breath steady. If you've ever loved someone who treated you as an afterthought, if you've ever been made invisible to protect someone else's ego, this is the moment that proves it's not your fault. You deserve more. You deserve respect. You deserve to be seen. Her phone buzzes again, a message from Lucas, now pleading. She reads it, then deletes it without a word. A reporter leans in closer, bold. "Ms. Monroe, will you reconcile with him?" Clover's lips curve slightly, the faintest hint of amusement. Reconcile, she repeats, voice low but piercing. I never lost anything to reconcile. I merely remembered what I've always had. Rebecca gives her a subtle nod. Clover turns toward the waiting car, but then stops. She glances back at the gala doors, at the stunned crowd, at Lucas still frozen inside. And let this be a lesson, she says, louder now, her voice carrying across the street, that anyone who tries to erase you, who tells you you're too much, they were never on your side to begin with. The camera flashes go wild. Social media erupts. The city hums with whispers of what just happened. Lucas's face turns white. He finally understands the magnitude of what he's lost. Not just his wife, not just his reputation, but the illusion of control he clung to so desperately. Clover slides into the car, the door shutting with a definitive click. The press continues to snap photos, record, and stream. Every step of her exit, every statement she made, is now permanent. Rebecca buckles in beside her. They're not going to forget this. He's finished. Clover's hand rests over her belly. No. He's just finally seeing what happens when you try to control a life that isn't yours to control. Outside, the gala doors remain open, a muted chaos spilling out into the city night. The crowd inside slowly realizes the scale of the defeat, the quiet, unstoppable victory of a woman they tried to diminish. And Lucas. He's left to stare at the space where she stood, the echo of her words lingering, haunting him. If you've ever been silenced, humiliated, or dismissed, don't let anyone convince you it's your fault. Stand up. Speak out. And if you want to see how someone reclaims everything they were denied, make sure you follow this story, because Clover isn't finished yet. The car pulls away into the night. Lights, cameras, and whispers trail her like a storm, leaving behind a man who finally understands that power doesn't ask permission, and the world is watching. And somewhere in that city, someone is already drafting the headline that will break the internet. The pregnant CEO who refused to be erased. Lucas presses his forehead to the wall. His ego, his pride, his illusions, all of it is crumbling. And the woman he tried to diminish? She's already gone further than he could ever follow. The story is far from over. And the next move. It's Clover's. Clover steps out of the car and onto the quiet street behind the gala. The city hums around her, taxi horns, late-night chatter, neon reflections bouncing off glass towers. But it feels smaller somehow, contained. Nothing here can touch her, and yet everything is watching. Every headline, every social post, every whispered conversation carries her now. Rebecca walks beside her, phone in hand, tracking the chaos erupting online. It's everywhere, she says, voice tight with disbelief. The gala, your speech. People are calling you courageous. Unbelievable. He's going to. Let him, Clover interrupts. Her hand rests lightly on her stomach. Let him realize what it feels like to be powerless. Let him feel what it's like to lose someone who never deserved to be underestimated. The neon light catches the edge of her dress, shimmering like fire. She inhales, steadying herself. Every step she's taken tonight has been deliberate. Every word, calculated to reveal the truth she'd been hiding for so long. Inside the ballroom, Lucas is pacing. He keeps glancing toward the exit where she vanished, as if sheer will could pull her back. His mother's whispers, urgent and sharp, are lost on him. Every social notification that buzzes on his phone slices through him like a knife. He can see the world reacting, tweets, live streams, comments praising Clover, questioning him. He throws his phone down on a nearby table, panic rising. She can't, this can't. His voice cracks. I can't. I need to fix this. Millicent grips his arm, nails biting into his skin. Fix it. There is no fixing it. You humiliated her in front of the world. And now. Shut up, he snaps. The words sound hollow even to him. He wants to call her, to apologize, to explain, to manipulate. But the truth is, she's untouchable now. And he knows it. Meanwhile, Clover's car slows near the riverfront. The driver glances at her through the mirror. "Where to?" "Anywhere," she replies, voice quiet, but her mind is sharp. Every step tonight has been part of a larger plan. Tonight, she didn't just reclaim her dignity. She reminded everyone that power doesn't ask for permission, and respect doesn't require approval. Rebecca's phone buzzes relentlessly. Reporters are calling, social media is erupting, and yet she keeps it from Clover. Letting her breathe. Letting her process. Because the fire inside Clover doesn't need fanning. It's already blazing. Clover leans back, eyes closing briefly. She thinks about the months she hid her identity from Lucas, the sacrifices she made to keep the illusion of their marriage intact. All the dinners, the polite smiles, the soft silences. None of it mattered in the face of her truth. She finally understands something she's always known deep down. Hiding yourself to make someone else comfortable is a slow erasure. A notification pings on her phone. She glances at it. It's a live news alert. CEO Clover Monroe denies husband's authority. Gala expose goes viral. She doesn't smile. She just lets it sit. The world is catching up, and Lucas still doesn't know what hit him. Inside, Lucas finally finds his voice, trembling. I need to. Millicent grips his shoulder hard. You had your chance. She's gone. And now, everyone sees what we always pretended we didn't. She was never small. You just never wanted to see it. Lucas flinches, the weight of humiliation pressing down on him. Every ally he counted on, every image he cultivated, every expectation he manipulated, they're gone. And the woman he underestimated is now untouchable. Clover's car slows at a quiet overlook. She steps out, the city skyline stretched before her. Wind ruffles her hair, the cool air brushing against her face. She looks at the river, lights reflecting like fragments of the life she's now reclaiming. She feels the baby shift, a tiny reminder of the life growing inside her. Her legacy, her responsibility, her anchor. Rebecca hands her a folder. Contracts, agreements, press notes. You'll need these for the next phase. Clover nods. Good. Let's make sure he knows that taking my presence lightly was his first and last mistake. A sudden notification flashes across her phone. A video clip taken from the Gala doors. Lucas's face, frozen, defeated, streaming live to thousands. People commenting, reacting, judging. His expression is desperation incarnate, a stark contrast to the composed, untouchable Clover they see on the screen. Her lips curl into a faint, grim smile. Let him watch, she whispers. Let him realize just how small he made himself tonight. Rebecca glances at her. Do you want me to respond to the media frenzy? Clover shakes her head. No. Let them come to me. Let him come to me. Let the world watch as the truth unfolds. She turns back to the skyline, the city lights shimmering in her eyes. For the first time in months, maybe years, she feels the weight of expectation lift. She's not just reclaiming her night. She's reclaiming herself. Inside the Gala, whispers of her presence outside reach the crowd. She's gone. Someone asks. She left. Yes, another whispers. And she's untouchable. Lucas hears it too, fragments drifting through the room, carried by the shocked murmurs of the attendees. The realization hits him harder than any words could. She's not coming back to explain, to justify, to apologize. She's already beyond him. Clover steps onto the overlook, hands on her belly, breathing in deep. She knows what she's doing is more than a personal victory. It's a statement. A warning. A lesson. For every person who's ever been made small. And then her phone buzzes again. A new message. From someone she didn't expect. Someone connected to Lucas. She opens it. Her eyes widen slightly as she reads the single line. He's trying to manipulate the story. He's planning to fight back. Clover's jaw tightens. A spark lights in her eyes. The game isn't over. Not yet. Rebecca notices immediately. You okay? Clover smirks faintly. Better than okay. It's time he learns that power doesn't bend for anyone, not even him. Behind them, the city continues to hum. But tonight, one woman has changed the rules. And the next move. It's about to shake everything. Lucas doesn't know it yet. But the storm is coming, and he's standing right in the middle of it. The night isn't done. And neither is Clover. Clover returns to her office the next morning, the city still buzzing from the Gala fallout. The lights of Chicago are softer now, but the energy from last night lingers in every corner of the building. She leans against her desk, hands over her stomach, feeling the life inside her, and the power that flows through her own veins. Nothing is the same. And she knows it. Rebecca is already there, pacing slightly, phone in hand. The media frenzy is insane. Headlines, live interviews, social media, everywhere. People are calling you courageous, inspiring, and untouchable. But, she hesitates, biting her lip. But Lucas, he's not quiet. He's trying to spin the story, get control of the narrative. Some of his contacts are already reaching out to reporters to minimize you. Clover smiles faintly, a cold, steady smile. Let him try. The truth doesn't bend. And this isn't just about him. It's about anyone who's ever been dismissed, belittled, or made small for someone else's comfort. She pauses, letting the weight of her words sink in. If you've ever loved someone who tried to control your life, your voice, your presence, stay with me. This next part matters. Rebecca nods, eyes scanning the streaming notifications. You're about to go viral all over again. But he's already sending texts, messages pleading, demanding, even threatening some reporters. Clover steps over to the window, looking down at the streets below. People are already talking about her. The gala, the confrontation, the viral clips, everywhere, her story is trending. The city watches, and the world is starting to see Lucas for what he really is. Selfish, manipulative, and desperate. Her phone buzzes. A text from Lucas. Clover, this is a mistake. We can fix this. Don't let this ruin everything. She deletes it without opening. No, she whispers. He had his chance to respect me. He chose control, humiliation, and ego. This is on him. Suddenly, another notification flashes, a direct message from a reporter she hadn't expected. Your story is inspiring millions. But he's contacting executives and donors to paint you as unstable. What do you want us to say? Clover exhales, steady and deliberate. Tell them the truth. Tell them what it feels like to be dismissed, denied, and erased by someone who promised to protect you. And let them see who really has power. Rebecca nods, typing furiously. Clover watches the screen, feeling a strange thrill. This is more than exposure. This is validation for every silent moment she endured, every compromise she made, every time she minimized herself for someone else's ego. A soft knock on the door startles her. She turns. The assistant from the gala, someone she trusted to manage logistics, hesitates in the doorway. Ms. Monroe, there's a call. From a major network. They want you on air, live, to tell your story. They're offering prime time. Clover's eyes narrow, heart racing. Not with fear, but with anticipation. Set it up. Now. Rebecca looks uneasy. Are you sure? Live TV. He could try to spin it there, too. He might call, interrupt, or... Exactly, Clover interrupts, voice steady. If he wants to play in public, that's where the game is won. Or lost. But I don't lose. Not now. Not ever. She feels the baby shift, a soft reminder of everything at stake. Not just her dignity, but the life she carries, the future she's fighting to protect. She straightens, smoothing her dress. It's time everyone sees the truth. Suddenly, her phone buzzes again. Another alert. This time, it's a viral clip. Lucas's attempts to call reporters, his frustrated messages to media contacts, his floundering explanations, all captured and circulating online. People are commenting, reacting, and judging. And the judgment is not on her. It's on him. Clover smiles, a dangerous, unshakable smile. She knows the next move will be decisive. She's ready to reclaim everything. Her name, her story, her power. And as the camera crew arrives to set up for the live interview, she whispers to herself, almost softly, "Let him watch. Let everyone watch." This is the moment he realizes that trying to control me only made me unstoppable. Rebecca hands her a glass of water. Clover lifts it to her lips, pausing for a breath, feeling the intensity of the moment. She knows the world is watching, and so is he. Every step she takes, every word she speaks, will redefine everything he thought he knew about her, and himself. Outside, the city continues to hum, but Clover is calm, centered, and untouchable. And somewhere, Lucas is scrambling, realizing, too late, that power is no longer his to wield. As the cameras roll, Clover takes a step forward, ready to speak live, fully aware that this broadcast will seal the reckoning. And the message is clear. No one who tries to diminish you should ever get away with it. And for the millions who've been silenced, ignored, or made to feel small, watch closely. This is how you reclaim everything that was stolen from you. But just as Clover opens her mouth to speak, her phone vibrates again. Another alert, urgent, from someone high in the media. He's showing up. He's at the studio. He's demanding access. You need to prepare. Clover freezes for a heartbeat, heart pounding, eyes narrowing. He's not done. And the showdown is about to get personal. Clover steps into the studio lights, the glare warm and sharp, illuminating every line of determination etched into her face. The cameras roll, the crew murmuring, capturing her presence. For the first time in months, maybe years, she feels fully seen, unapologetic, unafraid, unstoppable. Her phone buzzes. Another message from Lucas. "Clover, this isn't you. Come back. Let's fix this." She deletes it immediately. He doesn't get it. This isn't about reconciliation. This is about justice, truth, and the power he tried, and failed, to steal. Rebecca whispers beside her. He's here. Security says he's trying to get into the building. He's demanding to speak with you before the broadcast. Clover's jaw tightens. Let him try. Let him scream, beg, threaten. None of it matters. Tonight, the world sees who I really am, and who he really is. Inside, Lucas stands at the studio entrance, flanked by a security guard and a few frustrated production assistants. His tie is crooked, his polished image fraying under the glare of fluorescent lights. His face is a mixture of panic and fury. He tries to speak, but the words stumble over themselves. Clover takes a deep breath. She steps to the center, facing the cameras, the lights reflecting in her eyes. If you've ever been told to hide your accomplishments, silence your voice, or shrink yourself for someone else's comfort, you're not alone. And you deserve better. Her words resonate in the studio, in every living room, on every device streaming the broadcast. Lucas steps forward, voice rising, trying to interrupt. Clover, stop this. You're humiliating me. Clover cuts him off, sharp, controlled. Humiliation is the result of your own actions, Lucas, not mine. You chose control over love. You chose ego over partnership. And tonight, the world is watching you reap the consequences. The crew murmurs. Reporters at home watching live gasp. Social media notifications explode. #Clover Monroe trending across multiple platforms. Every comment, every share, every reaction piles pressure on him. Lucas tries again. This isn't fair. You're being. Clover's gaze pierces him. Fair. I didn't ask for fairness. I asked for respect. You denied me entry to the gala I funded, belittled me in front of your family, and tried to make me small to protect your ego. That was your choice. And now, the consequences are yours to bear. Her voice rises, steady, unshakable. If you've ever been dismissed by someone you trusted, made to feel invisible by someone you loved, let this be your reminder. Power is not theirs to take. Respect is not theirs to deny. And dignity is not something you negotiate, it's something you claim. Lucas's face turns pale. He opens his mouth again, but no sound comes. The cameras are on him now, too, capturing the man who tried to control and diminish, exposed for all to see. Clover steps closer to the camera. To anyone watching this, if you've ever been told you're too much, too loud, too ambitious, or too visible, don't shrink. Don't apologize for your power. Stand tall. Speak your truth. Reclaim everything they tried to take from you. Because there's nothing more dangerous than someone who finally remembers what they're worth. A notification buzzes on Rebecca's phone. The social media feed is exploding. Millions are watching, sharing, reacting. Lucas realizes, too late, that the world isn't just witnessing Clover's victory, they're cheering it. And he is alone. He tries one last desperate plea, voice cracking. Clover, please, come back. She turns slightly, the smallest, coldest smile curling her lips. I never left myself, Lucas. That's the difference between us. With that, she lifts her hand slightly, gesturing to the cameras. And now, let's talk about what it means to reclaim your life, your voice, and your power. The lights glare brighter. The studio is alive with energy, every lens capturing her unwavering authority. The broadcast begins, and Clover speaks not just to the audience in front of her, but to millions watching at home, in offices, in bedrooms, wherever someone has ever felt diminished or silenced. Outside the studio, Lucas collapses into a chair, broken. His mother hovers, silent, finally realizing the truth she'd ignored for so long. Every carefully curated image of control, every manipulation, every demand for obedience, it's all unraveling. Clover's voice continues, steady, firm, unstoppable. The screen fills with her presence. Her message is clear. No one has the right to erase you. No one has the right to belittle your existence. And anyone who tries will be exposed for the person they really are. And as the broadcast reaches its peak, the camera captures one final image. Clover, hand on her belly, standing tall, radiant, untouchable. The room around her fades, the chaos outside disappears, and for the first time, she feels herself, seen, respected, and free. Lucas watches helplessly. The man who once controlled everything is now powerless. He has lost, publicly and definitively. For those who've been silenced, ignored, or dismissed, Clover's story is a declaration. You are worth more than anyone's approval. You are more than anyone's ego. And your power is yours to reclaim. Clover Monroe's journey reminds us that no one has the right to diminish your existence. Standing up for yourself is not only brave, it's necessary. Every silent sacrifice, every hidden truth, every moment you've minimized yourself for someone else, this is your call to reclaim your life. If you've ever been silenced, dismissed, or made to feel small, don't wait. Subscribe now to follow stories like Clover's and learn how to reclaim your voice, your power, and your life. Don't let anyone erase your worth. Stand tall, speak loud, and rise.